The man just slept a few minutes longer. He realizes that his girlfriend has left at some point. He wanted to call her to ask her to bring breakfast, but then the air raid siren suddenly came to life outside. He was curious and rushed to the balcony to find out, but the scene in front of him directly scared him silly. The neighbor across the street suddenly jumped off the building. A military helicopter went out of control. It crashed directly into the building not far away. Jack did not wait for a clear understanding of what happened. Suddenly there were screams and hisses from the crowd downstairs. He slowly poked his head out of the balcony and looked down. A large number of residents in the neighborhood were fleeing frantically. His girlfriend was in the crowd waiting for something. Jack wanted to ask his girlfriend what was going on. Suddenly his girlfriend and a man jumped on an old man. Jack was overwhelmed by the horror of the scene. He didn't know what was happening down there. Just as he was crawling back into the house, a male neighbor burst into the house at an inopportune moment. The neighbor said his wife had suddenly become insane. He hoped Jack would take him in for a few hours, but before Jack could say yes, the neighbor covered his head and went into the bathroom. Jack realized that it wasn't that simple, so he grabbed a fruit knife and was ready to fight back. The TV suddenly showed an emergency news program. The host said that the world is being swept by a zombie virus. 90% of the human population has turned into zombies. Anyone bitten by a zombie will be infected by the virus instantly. The neighbor who just stepped out of the toilet also saw the news. He hurriedly explained that he was just a little bit scratched, but suddenly his eyes turned red. The skin on his face began to rot rapidly. The neighbor was about to turn into a zombie. Jack immediately forced his male neighbor to leave his house. Then he rushed up and closed the door. Then there was a harsh scream from outside the door. Jack was curious and looked out through the cat's eye. A series of horrific images made Jack sit on the floor in a state of paralysis. He knew that the world outside must have been overrun by zombies. He tried to contact his parents to inquire about the situation, but there was no answer on the phone. He saw that his father had sent him a text message an hour ago. The virus broke out at his parents' place a few hours ago, but they're safe at home for now. Jack knew he had to have good security if he wanted to survive. He blocked the front door with a refrigerator to prevent a break-in. Then he covered all the windows with paper to prevent walkers from finding them. He moved the mattress to the living room, so that when he rests at night, he can monitor the windows and the door at any time.